I'm Agnes and I make videos for fun. I have been working on a frilly wrap dress by Fiber Mood. We've been working on modifying the pattern for the skirt to make it longer, and now we need to work on the front of the skirt. And I need to understand how it works before I do anything. This is the waistline and this is the side seam. Now this will attach to the back of the skirt. So if I take the original length, this was the original piece. It turns out that this is the side seam on the back of the skirt, and this is the side seam on the front of the skirt. That's what must line up. And then there are those handy markings here. So this will line up like that, and they are the same length. So if I transfer the idea to now taking my longer skirt, this will have to line up like so, and the length must match. So my front of the skirt needs to be this long. So I'll be using the back piece to determine how long to make the front of the skirt, and then we'll have to work on the hemline. I've traced the front of the skirt and now I need to set the length. So I'm taking the back panel, I need to find the side seam, there it is. And I'm going to mark the new length that I need. I can't do what I did with the back of the skirt, and that is just adopt the size 44 hemline, because this is a wrap skirt, so it goes all the way to the waist, and now I no longer have the size that I need at the waist. It'll be a size 44. What I've decided to do is to, I have this length here that must match, and then I'm going to draw a curve that will merge back with what I have at the waist, and then we'll have to do some more thinking. So I don't have a set of those fancy curvy rulers. I really don't do that much pattern making, so I'm going to use the curve that I have from this skirt piece, and then do a joining here so it's continuous. Here's what the next step is going to be. I am going to reconstruct the bigger size on here, so I have the pieces, I'll add them, and then I'll measure how long my curve is, and I will measure on the skirt and see which of the sizes has the same length of curve, and this will be the size that I will use to cut the flounce. So the curve on my retraced longer skirt came out to be 94 centimeters. Let's hope that one of these curves is 94 centimeter long. And we've got a winner. It is the long dash, the long dash. That is the size 54. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the flounce piece for the front, that spiral one, and I'm going to cut the size 54 flounce. So I've MacGyvered the flounce back together, and I cut it to the size that I needed. Lastly, and this will be much easier, I want to shorten the sleeves. I'm going to have them so that they go 42 centimeters from the shoulder to the bottom of the sleeve. Make that 42 centimeters and 3 millimeters simply because I'm measuring from the bottom and I want a round number. So I'll put that here. Here I do want to reproduce what the original sleeve had at the bottom. So I've added a bit of pattern paper, and I'm going to trace this. with this, all of the pattern pieces are finalized and we can get to the fabric cutting. So here's a few of many problems with chiffon. It's transparent, so anything you mark will show on the right side of the garment. It's slippery, and it's also fragile, so you're not supposed to put pins in chiffon. An alternative though is to get really sharp and thin pins, and that's what I bought. You can't even see them, they're so small. So that's what I'm going to actually try. I am going to, so I can't trace, and also my pattern paper runs the risk of shifting a lot if I try to just cut. So I need to fasten the pattern paper to the chiffon. One method they advocate is to put weights and go ahead and cut. I am not that confident. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try my little very thin pins, and I'm going to pin the pattern paper to the chiffon and then cut and see how that goes. And of course, it goes without saying, a really sharp pair of fabric shears. I don't know if those are fabric shears, but they cut really well. One piece done, 10 more to go. The rest of the pieces that I have to be cut on the fabric folded in half. With chiffon, this adds another level of difficulty, and that is chiffon is slippery, so it's going to shift on itself, and I'm not going to get two identical pieces or symmetrical pieces. A trick I read was to use toilet paper or tissue paper, but I'm interpreting that as toilet paper. So I put bands of toilet paper in between my two layers, and this is supposed to prevent them from sliding over each other too easily. We shall see how that works. The next piece to cut is the front of the skirt on this fabric folded in half. And I am using the arrows to follow the direction of the grain, so I'm going to be cutting everything with the arrows pointing straight up, parallel to the selvage edge. I think the toilet paper between the two layers is really helping. And another thing that I'm doing while pinning is I'm flattening everything out nicely and then putting my pins in. I am entirely sold on the toilet paper. It's a lifesaver. It makes the whole, it gives it more body, so even for the cutting it's better. Another trick when trying to cut pattern pieces out of chiffon that I'm learning is when cutting on the fold, I pinned the piece along the fold, so now that's secured all along the fold. And then I'm going to turn this over and work from the back, because when you work from the back, you can see how the fabric is laying, and you can see that I also already had put some pins here, and it's wrinkled, so these are not where they need to be. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like.